Hello, all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who has joined this exciting webinar. We're truly grateful to have seen so many of y'all attending this series. We will just wait for a couple of more minutes for more of the audience to join in. Meanwhile, can someone confirm if I'm audible and if my screen is visible? Adina, can you please confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, Nandini, you're audible and your screen as well is visible.
Awesome. All right. Can other users who joined in also mention in the comment section below from which industry you belong to? That'll actually help us to customize the demo or the presentation accordingly. And we can take live examples or use cases from that specific industry as well. So we have about 20 plus participants right here with us. Thanks so much, everyone. We're glad to see the curiosity streaming over everyone's minds regarding our topic of discussion today, which is streamlining success via the power of automation. But before I begin, I would like to take a moment to introduce myself. I am Nandini Amritkar from the customer success team at Konnect Insights, and I have been associated with this lovely team for almost 2 years now. I take care of the onboarding and training of brands or accounts across the domestic and the international market. Along with me, I have my colleague Adina D'Souza, who would introduce herself and set the agenda for today's webinar.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nandini. Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining in today's webinar. I am Adina D'Souza from the Customer Success team in Konnect Insights. Nandini and myself are from the same department. So, as Nandini already mentioned, our day to day responsibilities is to onboard clients, address their queries, and most importantly, keeping our clients satisfied. Okay. And also helping them use Connect to its fullest, right? Now that we have already introduced ourselves, let us understand the agenda for today's webinar. Okay, it's going to be a very, very interesting webinar. So, in today's webinar, we are going to be talking about a very important topic, which is automations. Okay, now I can see a lot of people who have joined in. Okay, like so, most of y'all must be already knowing what automations are, since maybe y'all are already using it on a day to day basis under Connect Insights. But for the ones who do not know what automations are, a common thing that comes into our mind, especially from like a CXM platform. So when we hear the word automation, one major use case could be like, if there's a brand, okay, there's brands that receives conversations. So you would be sending across, like, sending out an automated reply. And that is definitely something that Connect Insights does, right? But Connect Insights also allows you to do so much more than just sending across, replies. So we also help in automating workflows. Now, let's say, for example, if there is a brand, okay, and they are running a campaign, and you do not want to assign the tickets to the, like, you do not want to assign certain tickets in the agent's queue, or like you just want to auto close them, or like, many other things in mind, right? So we can create such kind of automations and we can go about with it, right? Then let's say if the brand also wants to auto close tickets for, like, let's say after 24 hours or after 48 hours, or based on the brand's requirement, that also can be done, right? So there are many other automation workflows or like processes that a brand can implement within Connect Insights, right? So moving ahead, we are also going to talk so much more about the significance, like how by using automations, how brand has helped save time, and how we can see a huge ROI since they have started using automations under Connect Insights. So over to you, Nandini.
Thanks, Arena, for setting the agenda for our audience right here. Once again, thank you so much to each one of you for joining in. I promise this will be an interesting session. Stay tuned until the end and please feel free to drop by questions, as Arina has already mentioned, so that we can make sure to address each one of them. A quick brief of Connect Insights for the first time viewers at Connect Insights webinar series. It is an omni channel customer experience management platform where we cater to various solutions as you can see on the screen, right from community engagement, social listening, social analytics, and social publishing. Right now, when we talk about social listening, we capture data from across channels, right from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, GMB, iOS, and many more. Now that we have all this data captured under the platform, how can the online repetition be leveraged is something that we're going to be looking at in today's webinar. It can be leveraged by having manpower in place to respond to cases that are captured. But can brands that have a huge inflow of data, up to thousands and millions of cases, be responded to in an effective or in the most efficient way? Is that possible by the limited resources or the agents or the manpower that the brand has? The chances are quite slim. When there is such a huge chunk of data, it becomes very monotonous and also time consuming for the agents to respond to each and every customer's query effectively, which of course in turn affects their productivity levels. And this not only affects your brand reputation, it also does boil down to the customer satisfaction levels, which of course also gets dropped down. That's when Connect Insights automation comes into the play. Automation can help save costs by reducing the need for manual intervention for the repetitive or the mundane tasks. The tasks that they can actually not really work upon, the important task is something that the agents can really work upon, right? To rather have the time given to the important and critical cases than the ones that are repetitive in nature or the mundane cases. Such as, let's take an example of an organization that receives, let's say, thousands and millions of 4 and 5 star ratings with reviews on the iOS and the Play Store. By the help of automation, an auto response can simply be sent across based on the rating and the review based on the positive reviews that the customer is adding. A particular auto response can just simply be sent. This not only helps streamline tasks but also saves a lot of valuable time and the resources of the business. Moreover, automated response can be triggered in real time. As in when a particular customer, let's say, is writing to you, a particular auto response can just be triggered, which definitely saves faster turnaround time, which definitely means that there is a faster turnaround time for the cases that are being responded to. Right now, does that not leverage your brand reputation? Of course, it does, right? Let us also take another example of industries that have defined working hours and do not work 24 by 7. For such customers, for such businesses, if a customer is reaching out during their non working hours, right, how would they take care of this customer who's probably reaching out after the after the working hours, probably 9 to 5? If a particular customer is reaching out at 6 p.m., what about those customers? Right now, as a brand, I would want each of my customers to be feel seen, heard, and acknowledged at all times. That's again when automation plays a very crucial role. So Connect Insights automation can be set for non-working hours and the non-working days as well. An automated response such as, hi, thanks for reaching out, we shall get back to you during our working hours, that is from 9 to 5 p.m. tomorrow. Please be rest assured. Right? Simply sending this acknowledgement message gives a sense of assurance to the customer. And not only that, but then of course, they also entrust their brand, which not only improves the customer experience or the customer journey, but also boosts overall customer satisfaction, leading to scalability. Let us now look at the types of automations. First off, we have the first response acknowledgement, which can be sent across for business hours, non business hours, and also non working days. So, let's say, for instance, if I have a brand, I am probably one of the retail industries, and a particular customer has purchased a product from my brand, and probably the size does not really fit them well. So, now in this case, they will write out an email to me saying that, hi, this particular size does not fit me, please help me with my refund, right? And probably they would want to exchange the product as well. Now, in such instance where a customer is reaching out to you, probably the first L1 support can be handled over here. L1 support meaning you can just give an interim to the customer saying that thank you so much for reaching out. We shall get back to you shortly. This can be set on the business, non-business, and non-working hours or days as well. Right. Next up, we have the multi-response and context-based automation. We can take an example of the fashion industry here, where the customers are reaching out in the brand post comment section, asking for price details of a certain product, for an example. Right. Probably a customer, I have as a brand, I've uploaded a post on the native platform of my product, and there are customers who are reaching out to me in my comment section asking for price in the form of keywords saying price please, price details, cost of the product. Right now, when every time a customer is reaching out to me on the comment section, I will of course not provide my details or my product details in the comment section. right? So what I can do is, of course, at the same time, it is necessary for me to acknowledge this customer's inquiry. So what I'll do is I will acknowledge the customer's inquiry saying thank you so much for showing your interest in my brand product. However, please redirect, probably you can also send the link of your DM and say that please check your DM in order to get more insights or more details of the product. That is another use case that we have, right? Now, not only that, now you must be thinking that automations under Konnect Insights is only to auto or probably send responses to the customers, but that is not the case. You also can set automations simply for closing, auto closing, or auto resolving certain tickets. That can also be done via the help of automations under Konnect Insights, right? So there could be instances where a lot of customers are reaching out to you, are probably writing feedback to you saying that amazing product or so. You can definitely, of course, have this to be responded. And when you are sending out a response, they mention, thank you so much, amazing service, right? Probably not necessarily do you respond to these statements. So here you can simply auto close them as well. You can also, in fact, auto classify data as well. Now, when every time a customer is writing a feedback about your brand, you can have a particular classification that is nothing but the tags or dispositions to be created in the account and have this automated as well. So towards the end of the month or probably towards the end of the quarter, you can analyze how many customers have actually given you a feedback, right? Moreover, we not only have automation use cases in terms of response management, but you can also have automated certain flows in terms of resolving as well. That is also one of the use cases that we do have. Now, this is one of my personal favorites, an auto response during campaign posts made by the brand. There are two industry use cases that we would like to talk about over here. Primarily, the healthcare industry. For instance, this is a success story, in fact, of one of our existing customers who came up with an initiative to raise awareness of breast cancer during the Cancer Awareness Month in the month of October, right? The initiative encouraged a lot of participants to create cancer awareness drawings and share them on the social channel by tagging at the brand along with the hashtag empower through hope. As a reward for participation, each user received a free health checkup at their hospital using the pass that was sent across by the brand to the customer in their DM. Now, there were two automations set over here. One was for acknowledging the user on their post, stating, thanks so much for participating. Please check your DM for the free health checkup. And second, the free health checkup pass was, of course, shared across in the DMs as well. We will also see how this particularly example can be demonstrated under Konnect Insights. Just allow me a moment. Arina, can you please confirm if my screen is still visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, awesome. All right, so over here, we can have the automation name to be set, that is Empower Through Hope campaign tag post, right? Now I can select the relevant media type. I've selected Facebook over here. I can select the profile that I have to create this for. I can choose the platform as well, that is Facebook tag post. Right now, every time a particular user is going to tag my brand along with the hashtag, this particular comment or probably the tag post will be auto responded to. I will set the description, I will save this. And moving forward, we've got the rules. I will have the keywords to be added in here, that is empower through hope. Now, every time the user mentions this hashtag, along with that, when they tag the brand, all right. So both of these keywords, when run in combination, an automated response can be shared across for this. And moving forward, you can go ahead and save this. You can also set an action timing. So soon as a customer has tagged you or probably has mentioned this hashtag, right? You can take two actions. Either you can immediately action upon these, or you can also define a time interval in terms of days, hours, or minutes. I will choose to immediately action them. I will go to the actions tab over here and I can have the response to be sent over here on the latest message. And I can have the reply sent throughout the day. In fact, I can also, as we spoke about earlier in one of the use cases, where you can have acknowledgement to be shared on the basis of working hours, you can do that from over here during business hours, non-business hours, or non-working days, right? And then you can also have various templates to be selected from here. So if you want different templates to go out every time a user is writing to you, you can have multiple responses selected, and this will go in a round robin fashion, which not only it of course it does not look very robotic, and it gives a very personal touch while the brand is sending out messages or responses. And moving forward, you can change this ticket status as well. You can auto change the ticket status to assigned, closed, resolved, and many more. You can also have a comment to be set here, and that's how an automation can quickly be created. Right. Moreover, we also have another industry use case, that is retail and e-commerce industry. Adina, would you want to take this up?
Yes, Nandini, I would take that up. So the second use case here can be a retail industry. Okay. Now, as we know, Labor's Day is approaching in like the next coming week, right? So retail stores as an appreciation to all the employees, right? Since of course we all work hard, right? So they have decided to run a campaign where any product that has been purchased by the store would get like a 30% off by for the customer. Okay, but only if the customer is buying the product. Okay, if he posts a story about the product and tags the brand, that's when he will get a 30% off. Okay, now once this is done, the brand of course will get the mention. Okay, to which an automation will be sent across to whomsoever wants to receive the offer, right? Now how does this help the brand? Number one, it helps save time of the agents, as manually replying to all of these participants would be very time consuming, right? So here the automation will help go across all the customers without missing onto anyone, right? So the time is saved and the time can be utilized for the agent's productivity, right? Now, number two, it spreads awareness about the particular store offering the particular discount. So, of course, who wouldn't want discounts, right? So, everybody would want to go and inquire about the offers that are being going on. So, here there's an increase in the engagement. So, as well, there's a win-win situation for the brand as well as the employees, right? Now, next up, we have a very interesting automation, that is the hide and delete comment automation. Nandini, if you could, yes, thank you. So here I'll elaborate this with the help of an industry, insurance industry. Okay. Now let's say the brand posts a post on different social media platforms regarding the insurance policy or like the offers they have to provide, right? Now, the comment section would be filled with different types of conversations, right? There could be comments like the brand is not as great as my brand, or this particular insurance offer is fake, or it could be spam. Now, this is all irrelevant for the brand, correct? And of course, why would the brand want all of this to be calculated, like all of these numbers to be calculated into their reports, right? Because majority of them are irrelevant to them, right? So that's when this automation is perfect for the brand, where based on the keywords or let's say the post ID or however the brand wants to set this automation, the comments would be either auto deleted or auto hidden. Okay, saving 80% of the agent's time plus saving the brand's reputation. Right, of course, like no brand would want any negative comments on their post or something like that, right? So in order to save their reputation, they can also do this as well, right? So the main important point to note over here is we can either hide or delete the comments of Facebook, Instagram, and the LinkedIn comments. All right. Nandini, would you like to take up the other example for the gaming industry?
Yes, absolutely. Now, again, when it comes to gaming industry, we have a lot of our customers belonging to this particular industry as well, wherein they use this automation where, let's say, I am a brand, I am uploading a particular post, and there are a lot of comments that are getting captured under the system, right? There are a lot of negative comments, or probably there are people who are mentioning that X brand is better than the Y brand, or the Z brand is better than the X brand, or so, right? Now in such a case where people are actually, when I as a brand I'm uploading a post and other users are coming and talking about my competitors, I do not want the competitors to data to be visible there, right? Or probably there should not be any comparison between my brand and the X brand, right? So what I can do is, as a brand, I can have these comments that are made by users to be either auto hidden or auto deleted, and this is how you can have this automation to be set up. So under the automation, I will have the relevant tag to be set. Social type can be Instagram, for an example. I will select the profile, respectively choose the platform, which will be Instagram comments, and I will go ahead and save this. Going to the rules section, I will have all the relevant keywords mentioned over here. So as I've mentioned here, contains keywords X brand, probably Y brand, which probably a user is also adding negative keywords like fraud, negative, bad, which I do not, probably I would want to hide certain comments such as these negative comments. I can do that with the basis of this. I can also set it based on the sentiment. And moreover, I will also add the post ID. So for which particular post has this particular comment come in for, which I would want to hide. Can I do this? And I can go ahead and have this to be set. Action timings will of course be immediately, because I wouldn't want any of the customers or any of the users to view the comments that are made. Even for a minute, I wouldn't want this to be seen. Now that's when automation comes into the play. If there are so many reviews or so many comments that are getting captured or that are being put on the social media post, right? I wouldn't have the time to look at each and every comment and delete it immediately. That's not possible by the manual workforce, right? So that's when automation definitely plays a huge role. When I click on to save, I will also go ahead and set actions. Right from here, on a simple click that is mention hide or mention delete, can I have the action to be done? And I can change the ticket status as closed and have the status, which will be for our own reference, to be set over here. And that's it. That's about it. That's as easy to set an automation to simply delete and hide automations, auto comments that are coming in.
Yes, yeah, that's correct, Nandini. Thank you. Coming along with another automation, that is follow up response or auto classify. Now, let's take an example. There is a customer who DMs a brand asking for certain queries, okay, to which the agent replies saying, "Thank you so much for showing your interest. Please let us know your query or your concern." And they mark the ticket status as follow up. Why? Because we're awaiting a response from the customer. Correct. Now, let's say the customer doesn't come back within, let's say, 5 to 6 hours. And considering the number of conversations the agents receive on a daily basis, of course, to follow up to each and every customer would be a very tedious task for the agent, right? So that's when we can send out like the first follow up response, like the automated one, right? Now, so let's say the customer doesn't revert back, even though the first follow up message has been sent. Okay, then a second follow up also can be sent, changing the ticket status to resolve, because let's say if the customer comes back again, the same ticket would reopen, right? Now, how is this, how does this benefit the brand? Firstly, it shows that the brand is keen on listening to their customers, okay, by sending multiple follow-ups, right? So let's say, for example, if I had certain concerns and I messaged the brand saying that, hey, I have certain queries, and let's say I forgot about it due to certain work, right? So then I keep and then the agents keep messaging saying like, hey, can please let us know when can we connect, or like do let us know what is your queries and all. Then once I get back to that particular message, I'll see to it and I'll be like, oh, the brand actually does want to know what exactly I want to say, right? So here the customers are heard, and I would of course feel satisfied and appreciated by the brand, okay, so that they are showing like customer satisfaction and loyalty, right? Then that's all with this particular use case. Moving ahead, we have the GMB. Okay, now let's take an example of a QSR brand. Okay, now let's say there are multiple outlets. Okay, to which each location receives a lot of reviews and ratings. Right, now, of course, again, to reply to each and every customer is going to be a very difficult task. Okay, and of course, there could be also a human error where the agents might miss on to replying to certain reviews or concerns, right? So that's when an automation can be set for 4 and 5 star ratings, or 4 and 5 star ratings based or along with the reviews based by keywords. Okay, so whenever or wherever the customer gives in, let's say, a 5 star rating or a 4 star rating, or also giving you a review saying that, hey, amazing services, amazing food. Okay, so those tickets can be responded to, okay, like they can be auto responded to, and they can be auto closed or resolved based on the brand's requirement. Okay, now this all can be done under KI in one go, right? Now that we have understood what automations are, okay, now we have known that automations can either wear or tear your business, right? So we will discuss few pointers to keep in mind before actually creating an automation. Okay, the first point is negative sentiment. Okay, now let's say a customer is tagging a brand mentioning, hi, I have lost like my credit card and I want to block it. Okay, reached out to, let's say, the customer support, and like, nobody has reverted back to me. Okay, I've not gotten any message back from the brand, right? Now your an automation cannot be sent saying like, hi, thank you so much for reaching out, we are glad to hear this. No, right? Because firstly, we need to avoid sending out automations to negative comments, because already the customer is frustrated, right? Then them reading an automated response would trigger them even more, right? So this, like, could also impact the brand's reputation, right? So before creating an automation, we need to keep this in mind as to when and where we should set an automation, and when and what time should it get triggered, right? Then the second point could be like the influencer conversation. Now here, if there is an influencer commenting on your brand, okay, now we shouldn't actually send across like an automation, because it will create a negative impact on the brand, right? Because firstly, a person with so many followers commenting on your brand is like a big thing, right? So now sending across an automation wouldn't really be like, the right approach. So yes, we have like, come, and of course another thing could be the crisis queries, right? So let's say the same example, like, when people are talking about something really important, something really critical, right? We shouldn't be sending out automations. For that, what we can do is we can send out automations to only, like, the positive comments or the positive ratings. Okay, and then all these critical cases and critical queries that are coming out from the customers can be managed manually by the agents. Okay, so over here what it's doing is like automations is helping the agents to actually cater to the main critical cases, so it's saving time. It's also saving the brand's money, like the financial thing, because of course, like, you don't require a lot of agents to deal with a lot of queries. Okay, because if you are getting majority of positive responses, then an automation can be set for that, and the remaining other negative can be taken care by the agents, like the negative tickets. So, yes, we have come to the end of our webinar, where we have covered almost all of the automations. Like, what are automation? Why is automation important? How it, like, helps the brands streamline their workflow. How cost effective it is, like, for the brands. Like, how agents saves their time, and how by sending across an acknowledgement to the customers during, let's say, non-working hours and non-business hours, how the customers are satisfied, right? Of course, there was a lot more use cases, and there's a lot various other ways of creating an automation under Konnect Insights. But yeah, due to time constraints, we couldn't like mention it all. But nevertheless, we are always looking forward to answering any of your questions or queries regarding KI, or like regarding the automation, or if you want to know more about anything, you can directly reach out to us. So, yeah, if there are any concerns or queries, please feel free to drop in your comments under the comment section below. Nandini, if you would want to include anything more than this, you can please feel free to do that.
Right, definitely. We should definitely automate our tasks efficiently and make sure that the customer experience is our priority. And that can definitely be done using the power of automation that Connect Insights provides. So if we have any questions, we can just take them over now. Do we have any questions? Anybody? Okay, we've got one. Can we send automated responses based on criticality or based on severity? Yes, as Tejas has already answered this question, absolutely. We can create an automation based on not only severity, you can also do it based on the sentiment, the language, the country, based on a particular keyword, the post ID, you name it, and we all have it. You can definitely get in touch with us as well if you want to know more about automations. There are a lot of brands, in fact, who have been using 30 plus automations using Connect Insights, which is a great, definitely gives a lot of ROI to them, and hence they've been using this. So yeah, definitely you can create automations based on severity.
Yes, yes. Nandini, probably if you could just like demonstrate it, I think the person who actually questioned this would get like a clear understanding, maybe.
Okay, sure. So I hope my screen is visible, the
Yes,
Connect
yes,
Insights screen. All right,
yes.
awesome. So right over here, we can create an automation based on a severity as well. Let's take an example over here. When I click onto automation name, okay, I will have this to be done based on, let's say, first follow-up response. I will select the relevant media type profile and I will save this. When I go to my set rules, here we've got various parameters like keywords. You can set it based on keywords. You can set it based on the post ID, the sentiment, as you can see, and the severity. So yes, we also have a feature called the severity, which can definitely you can help that particular severity feature helps you create certain critical cases. If there are any critical cases, or let's say low medium cases which are not as that does not have or hold a lot of priority. Low priority cases, you can have that severity to be created as well, and based on that, can an automation be triggered? And
Yes.
similarly, can you also run an automation based on the ticket status? So, if, for example, if a particular case has come in which has marked by an agent as follow up, all right, and now you would want to probably send an automation every time the customer reaches out to you would want to send out an automation on this follow up case, you can do that also based on the ticket status. Not only that, but one more important thing that I would like to highlight before we end this webinar could be that you can also set automations based on the ticket statuses, which is nothing but auto assignment of the conversations that are getting captured. So if you want certain agents to work on only certain cases, you can also have that automation to be set. So right over here, this particular say, let's say, based on the keywords that were set, based on this conversation should only be assigned to an X user. You can select the respective name and that will be assigned to them. You can also in fact have the classification to be set here. You can also auto classify cases as was discussed earlier, and that's about it.
Yes. Yeah. So we have another question here, Nandini. So they're mentioning like, suppose if I want Instagram DMs to be automated and Facebook as well, how will the automation response work? So over here, what we can do is, right, we can create two different kinds of automations, one for Instagram and one for Facebook. Okay, as Nandini very well already explained, right? So over here, what we can do is we can give the name of the automation. Okay, under the profile we will select Instagram, and under the media type you will select Instagram DM. Right, once that is done, you will go to the set action. Okay, set rules. Over there you can, yeah, under the set rules, so you can add in the keywords basically. So only if these certain keywords are added in the DM, that's when the automation can be triggered. Okay, if it is not, then it will run onto all the cases. So let's say, for example, Nandini is mentioning amazing. Yeah, so let's say if under the DM section, okay, there's a particular customer who's come up on Instagram DM saying like, hey, amazing work or amazing product, right? So to which an auto response can be sent across, then we can of course set the action immediately. And then after we have the main set action, it could go as the private message. Private message means it will be sent across to the DM. Okay, we have also another option saying as latest message. Okay, so that can go on to the comment section as well, right? So like this, we will have to create two automations, one for Instagram and one for Facebook, right? You can also select on how you want the automation to run, whether you want it all day or whether you want it to define at a specific time interval. And then over here we also have the draft message template, right? So under the draft message template for Instagram DM, maybe you will have like a different message set altogether, and let's say for Facebook DM, that could be a different draft message set, right? So this is how we can create an automation for both. I hope this answers the question. Nandini, if you would like to just add in something.
I think yes, that was awesome. We've definitely answered the question quite promptly.
Right,
Another
right.
question that probably we can take up could be, can we use automation for follow up with customer? Yes, definitely that can be done. As was discussed by Adina as well, you can definitely have the automation to be set based on the follow up status as well. That can definitely be done.
Yeah. We also have another question that's there. It states that, is there anything to help brands with responses based on products or services? Like if someone asks my brand like for a specific price or a specific product, like the price of purchase link is automatically sent to them? Yes, definitely, of course, we can also do that. Nandini, maybe if you can just demonstrate. It's basically the same way how we can set it up. Okay, so what we can do is, firstly, we'll of course give the name of the automation. Under the keyword section, we will add the keywords, let's say price or product. Okay, now let's take for example, if there is a post. Okay, onto that post, people are mentioning about like, hey, I want to know the price of this product, or hey, can you send me the link of this particular product, right? So under this section, under set rules, you will add all of these keywords. Okay, once that is done, okay, now let's say you want to send this particular link, okay, into their DM. Even that is feasible. Now how is that feasible? First we set this particular automation. Okay, we of course set the action time to immediate, or if the brand wants to let's say define a specific hour, that's also feasible. And then we can go to set actions, under which over here, first we can select the multiple, yeah, we can select the draft message template. First thing, we'll reply to the users as the latest message, because first an auto response would be gone to the comment, because since they have actually raised their concern on the post of the comment, right? Once that is done, then we can also set an automation where the link can be sent to their DM. So for that, we will select private message, and then we can of course select the particular time that you would want. I mean, like whether you want the automation to run all day or like a specific time, like business hours, non-business hours. And of course, we can select the draft message template. So under the draft message template is where you can add the particular link. Okay, and then that will be sent across to your DM, the customer's DM. So yeah, I hope this answers the question. Nandini, if you would like to add something more.
I think that was awesome. We did answer the question quite well.
Okay, okay. Are there any other questions? Anybody? Um,
All right, I think we have answered most of the questions. Is it?
yes, yes, I think I don't see any more questions, Nandini. Yeah.
All right, great then. Thank you everybody for joining in today's webinar. We were very thankful for y'all. In fact, for all the members who've actually stayed tuned until the end of the webinar. We're very grateful to all of y'all. Thank you so much for joining the webinar, and let's make sure that your customer experience is always as your priority with the help of automation, of course.
Right.
All right then. Thank you so much. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.